What's up, YouTubers? Itsreload, and I'm going to show you how to make a really cheap camera mount using PVC piping parts. First, you're going to need hose clamps, and depends on what size. Big one obviously for the bigger pipe, and then the small one for the smaller pipe. You're going to need bolts, 1/4 inch in diameter. You're going to need these plugs depending on what size you choose. They also come threaded. And you're going to need some sort of rubber material gasket to put on your actual frame or handlebar so you don't scratch it. And another thing about these tees, some of these actually come threaded. This one I have is actually not threaded. And you're going to need your Dremel, 1/4 inch drill bit and drill. What else? Oh, glue if you're using plugs. The PVC stuff is actually strong. And your sidekick. So you can make them go get stuff. First we're going to take the plug. This is the threaded plug. Obviously, if you're not using a threaded plug PVC, then you don't need the threaded plug. But you're going to take your 1/4 inch drill and drill through it, just like that. If you center it, it's much better. Then you're going to take your 1/4 inch bolt, and you want to make sure your bolt is long enough to reach out the top. Then you're going to take your nut and you're going to tighten that bolt down. Notice how this particular plug is hollow. Some plugs are stopped at the bottom and some are at the top. So if it's stopped at the top, you're going to need a shorter bolt. Obviously you just want enough so that your camera can fit on, and not too much so that your camera's like hanging on a stock of a bolt stock. Then you're going to get your Dremel, and you're going to cut this. You're going to basically cut the bottom from it, and we're going to follow this crooked line that I made with the Sharpie. And you're going to do this to both sides. Movie magic, and now we got 2 pieces. Now you're going to take that bolt, the plug that you just made, and this one was the threaded one, and you're going to put it right on there. Notice how the bolt fell in. I didn't put it all the way on. And if you're obviously if you're using the non-threaded version, you're going to have the plug like so. And you need something to hold it in, so yeah, I like to use super glue, but the PVC stuff is strong, but it's really strong also, the smell wise, but it holds much better. I'm just gonna put this in loosely, but I advise you torque this down. Notice how the bolt falls in. That's because I don't have the nut all the way on, and you're not gonna want that because you won't be able to mount your camera if the bolt keeps falling in. So let me fix that real quick. This happens to have a flat end. You could probably have this with a hex head. And notice how it's sticking out now without falling in. And there you go. Is that awesome or what? It wasn't that hard to make. Just like that. Okay, now seriously, here it is right here. Let's pretend this is your handlebar. You have one on each side. I use the big hose clamps. I want to cover my super duper finish. Then I'm going to make a gasket sandwich just like that. See how easy it is? And then just kind of squeeze it on there. And then your other hose clamp falls on the ground and rolls under the car beside you, and you lost it. But no, really. Let's put these both on the same side. And now I got them both facing the same direction. With my flathead screwdriver, I'm just gonna torque these on a little bit. Just like so. Obviously you want it snug enough so your camera doesn't roll around. And there's your handlebar with your camera mount. And let me go get the camera without pulling the mic out. So here's your camera. Quarter inch underneath. What a coincidence. And then you just kind of spin your camera on there. Well, it's got to be a lot easier than spinning your bike, but yeah. So there you go. Obviously you're going to adjust the screws to whatever direction you want it to face, and you want it snug so you're not rolling around. And I think you read the disclaimer, I hope. Yeah. And this is basically acrylic made. That will be in video 2. Notice the rubber feet. I think I've showed you those before. Velcro. And this is pretty neat too. Thanks for watching. So you take this here. I mean, I said. Okay, just roll with it. So you take this here. I said it again. Nah, I gotta do this over. There's gonna be minors watching this.